Today, I would like to start with a guidance on a very simple secret to personal happiness, and we can call accelerated growth on the spiritual path. Okay. So prepare yourself, come into a meditative space, allow yourself to be here motivelessly, meaning you do not need anything. You do not need anything to change or happen. You have no requirements for this moment, no ideas about what life should be or become. No idea of needing to become something, gain something, add on to yourself, get more knowledge, wisdom. A lot of personhood is fueled by just this uh, striving towards advancement. You'd be surprised how much relief there is in just a simple moment of taking that filter of needing to advance and gain away from your seeing for even a moment. And then you realize how needy you were, how needy the person is, constantly trying to manipulate phenomena to its idea of perfection, betterment. Even on a regular day-to-day basis, when we really talk about appreciation and gratitude, notice how deeply flawed that is. The person can only be grateful for when things are going the person's way, when conditions are favorable for the person. The person is not grateful to be. The person is not grateful to be alive. The person is not grateful for life as it is. The person is only grateful if I'm getting what I want. The person is only grateful for how I feel when things are to my liking. That is the person's happiness. And the person is even more happy if the person feels like I did this, I made this happen. There's, let's say, a lot of people who are born into a lot of wealth. Um, so all their life is full of luxurious surroundings and opportunity. But, they always maybe feel some sort of dissatisfaction within because they feel like they didn't do it, they didn't earn it, you know? So that's a different type of delusion. But an even greater type of delusion is when your life story looks like you came from nothing and you did a lot of things and gained a lot of wealth and power and fame. And now you feel like you did it. You made that happen. You achieved that. So the person is happy because conditions are suitable, favorable, preferred. And the person is extra happy if the person is under the impression, I made this happen. I achieved this. I am the ruler. I am the doer. I am the creator. I am God. That's what the person really wants. It wants to play God. We've all felt that way at a certain point in our life where things were going really well and you really felt like, hey, I'm in charge. I did this. I feel so happy because I did this. And that was a necessary part of our, call it a spiritual evolution. But you also know what happened the moment things were not going your way anymore. When a bout of misfortune arose for you, when things you could possibly not control presented themselves to you, when great limitation was presented to you, maybe some health issue, financial issue, relationship issue. Most likely, today, what your life looks like is not really what you thought it would look like. That's not a curse, it's a gift because that is what life is. It is unimaginable, uncontrollable, infinitely dynamic, unpredictable. That's secretly what you crave from life the most, yet that is what the mind also then fears the most. The mind wants that spontaneity. It wants that infinite possibility because that is what feels like the adventure that is called life. Yet at the same time, because one is so deeply under the impression of being a person who controls life, that position is also very fearsome. So now we are lucky enough that the spiritual teachings have come into our experience and they are guiding us from ignorance to truth, from concepts about life to what is. And there are two simple things to realize. One, you are not a person who controls life. You are not the body that acts. You are not the mind that thinks and decides. You are the perceiver of these. You are the perceiver of this entire appearance appearing before you, called the person and its world. You have no form. You have no preference. You are the pure acceptance of what appears. There is nothing separate from your being. So the first thing to do is recognize you are not the person. And the second thing to do is have no resistance to how life is appearing. Sorry if you thought it was going to be something more extraordinary. These are the two simple secrets to accelerated spiritual growth and the greatest personal happiness. Yes, the greatest personal happiness does not lie in you getting things to go your way. That is conditional happiness or conditional relief at best. The greatest personal happiness is unconditional, and it is not a state of elation or excitement. It is a contentment that comes from knowing that all is well, all is as it should be, all is as it is, all is not separate from me, but shares my being. So let's take that first step right now. Allow your experience to be. Don't need anything from it just for now. Don't relate to it personally. When you relate to things personally, you're always thinking, how does this serve me? Or how does this take something away from me? How does this help me gain something? Or what am I, going to potentially lose? Practice perceiving experience without relating through it to it as a person through interpretation, judgment, analysis. It is not you, the person, that is aware of this experience. The person you think you are is also the experience being perceived by you, that which is, without form, without name, without preference. Even the person is a perceived experience that changes. And its changefulness, you, that which doesn't change, know. So take that first step by stop associating yourself with the body mind. Forget about later, here and now. Don't step into the idea, but how do I live life in this way? You're already becoming personal. You're already relating to even this instruction personally if you step into those arguments and judgments and confusions and doubts. Do you see why we constantly talk about discarding those things, disengaging from those things? The moment you step in them, you have become person. Now you're relating to the teaching even personally. Let it go. You are. You are aware. Acknowledge that without words, without thought. Feel your existence. Be aware of being alive. Recognize aliveness, awareness. Awareness is not personal. The person is a perceived experience that appears in awareness. You do not have to mentally understand this. In fact, you will never mentally understand this. You have to explore your own awareness. You have to sit with your own awareness without any words, without any thoughts, in order for this to naturally reveal itself to you. That's how this path of silence works. If you have embarked on it, you have to trust it and you have to practice it. You can't keep doubting it and still wanting to go deeper into this at the same time. So take that first step of stepping out of personhood. Be aware without associating with the mind, the body, anything. Nothing you perceive as you. You have no form. You need to recognize that throughout the day as many times as you can. And you need to sit with that. You need to make allocated time every single day to sit with that fact. Otherwise, this cannot open up. This cannot reveal itself in its greater and greater depth. It's trying to open up to you, but you have to make space for it. You have to give it time. You have to step out of dealing with everything personally, constant thinking about yourself and your life. Now let's take the second step. The second step to your greatest personal happiness and to accelerated spiritual growth. Don't mind what is. If life is taking an unexpected turn, don't mind where it's going. If circumstances are not suitable, don't mind having to deal with them. If a lot of work has to be done, don't mind doing it. If people are rude to you and you feel bad, don't mind feeling bad. If difficult conversations have to take place, don't mind engaging in them. If a big problem arises with tons of uncertainty, your personal well being is at stake. Don't mind having to go through such an experience and doing what needs to be done moment by moment. If the mind is afraid of the future, don't mind being afraid. When you conceive of yourself as a person, you mind everything. The only things you don't mind are things you prefer and are suitable to you, things you desire, things that help you feel like a bigger, better person, that enhance your status in society, that give you more opportunity in the world, that allow you to have more and more experiences in the world. Those are the things that the person doesn't mind. But now you know you're not the person. You are something greater, something beyond, something prior. So if you want to realize that more deeply, you have to be as you are. This teaching is sharing with us so generously that your real nature is that of total acceptance. Your real nature is that which has no preference. no resistance, no desire, no fear. Now, don't expect the person to embody those qualities at the level of the body and mind. You will feel fear, you will feel anger, you will feel resistance. The mind will interpret, the mind will judge, but now it is your choice. Do you want to engage in that and keep being that? Or do you want to practice being as you are, despite the body resisting, despite the mind fearing? You can be as you are. The way to be as you are as life unfolds is don't mind what happens. Don't mind even what is being felt at the body and mind level. Your acceptance, your allowance is not only on the bodily and mental level, it is even prior to and subtler than the bodily and mental level. So, even in all things that are happening at the body and mental level, emotional level, they are also already allowed. You just have to recognize it. Allow the movie that is your life to play, to flow where it is flowing. Essentially, know yourself as only the witness of this play. You are not in it. You are not involved in it. You are not the doer of it. It will continue to appear like that to you, but now be wiser. The teaching is guiding you to the understanding that you are not in this appearance. You are not the body moving and acting. You are not the mind thinking and deciding. That may not make sense right now. That may feel very vague and subtle to grasp right now because the appearance that I am this body and mind is so strong. But if this teaching feels truthful to you, then you have to have trust. And then you have to simply practice. The practice of this teaching does not require belief. Trusting the teaching just helps you to actually practice it. The practice is very rooted in direct experience. All it is asking you to do is stop resisting. And two, be aware of being. Be aware, be alive, be without associating with the experiences appearing in passing, including the body mind. That is the definition of meditation. And letting go of resisting is the definition of surrender. The two most direct and advanced spiritual practices. Funny how the most advanced requires you to do the least. Take a hint. The simpler something is, the more rooted in truth it is. But we have to be willing to embrace, to trust, and to practice. Why should you trust? You don't have to. If it doesn't feel truthful to you, if this message doesn't feel like it's arising from life, from a power greater than your mental intelligence, and trying to guide you deeper towards something more truthful, then by all means, you are free to leave. You are free to discard this teaching. You are free to not practice. But if this teaching feels truthful, even though your mind cannot make sense of it, you have to trust that feeling of alignment, that feeling of truthfulness. That is a godly feeling. That is a pull from source, a feeling of alignment, just an intuitive sense that you are being guided towards a more truthful direction. So, because of that, you override your logic. You override your doubt and confusion, and you give yourself to the teaching. You give yourself to the practice and embodiment of the teaching, even when your conditioning is pulling at you from different directions in such strong ways. And it will do so. These things are simple, but not easy to practice. That's why we're here. That's why we're here to support each other and do this together. Just be willing. Be most willing when the conditioning is at its strongest, when the emotion is at its greatest, when uncertainty is at its highest. To transcend the personhood, willingness is needed in that degree. Power comes to you through trust in the teaching, trust in life. You're not trusting me, you're not trusting even the teaching, you're trusting your source, you're trusting your life that is bringing this sort of message in your experience. Trust yourself, trust your source, God, life. Power comes from that. Power comes from meditation. When you sit and you withdraw from personhood and you honor your source, you honor truth, you sit in silence, aware of being, aware of being aware, because that is the reflection of source in your experience. Awareness, beingness, I-ness, nowness. And power comes to you through greater and greater practice. The more you practice being as you are, the greater power will come to you to practice in an even deeper way. Power will come to you in the form of peace, clarity, discernment, wisdom, things that you will really start to recognize are not mind made. Things you cannot take credit for. Is the one thing that happens to you in life that you start to recognize, hey, I really cannot take credit for this because it is coming from somewhere that I have no idea. It's coming from within, but it's not mind manufactured. Therefore, it doesn't strengthen your pride, it weakens it. It brings humility. So that's our path. Keep it simple. Be aware of being and don't associate with any experience appearing before you. And any experience appearing, being perceived, do not resist. There's nothing to cling to, there's nothing to resist, there's nothing to fear. Be the open, empty awareness in which all experience flows like a river, coming and going without any reservation, without any stuckness. Judge not, hate not, fear not, resist not, cling not, simply be. On the personal level, just do what needs to be done. You will have to embrace both being a person, yet knowing that that is only a surface level role you're playing, and essentially only being the witness of experience. You have to walk both. If you only try to embrace being the witness and start to now reject personhood and start to say life is meaningless, or I don't want to do this, I don't want to do that, I'm only the witness, you're going to start acting like a lunatic. You're going to make a lot of dysfunction happen in your life. So you cannot only embrace the impersonal. On the surface level, you will have to continue to appear like you are the doer. And so you let that appearance happen. You don't fight against it. You let your personal destiny unfold. You do what needs to be done without resistance. Yet you cannot only be attached to the personal side and keep rejecting the impersonal. You keep running away from silence, keep running away from meditation, because then you will also act like a lunatic and you will create a lot of dysfunction in your life. That's already something you've done all your life. So no one has to tell you that. Embrace both the impersonal and the personal. Seems paradoxical, but as you start to practice, you start to see it's not. You are both right now. Most of all, be happy. Choose to be happy. Stop waiting for things to happen, even spiritual growth. Be happy now. Make it a habit. Stop waiting for things to change so that you can be happy. Through non resistance and meditation, you naturally start to find unconditional happiness, but why wait? As you practice, choose to be happy. All right. That's all for today.